Hey guys, first of all, I want to point out, isn't it great that we can still take notes even though I'm not in class? I know you're probably just as excited about that as I am. Okay, so I want to start by just kind of recapping what we've done so far in this section called nouns and articles. So the first thing we did was we talked about the four definite articles in Spanish: el, la, los, and las. We talked about how every single noun in Spanish has a gender, and you have to decide what that gender is, and you have to decide how many of the thing there are to figure out whether you're going to use el, la, los, or las as the word the in front of it. Okay? We talked about masculine and feminine rules. How do you tell if a word is feminine? There were 3 rules for that, right? Ends in a, ends in dad, or ends in ion. We talked about how to tell if a word's masculine if it ends in ma, or otherwise if it doesn't follow any of the other rules, then it's probably masculine. We talked about exceptions to these rules, namely human beings, right? Human being nouns could be either one, depending on what the real human being is. And we talked about how some words are just exceptions for no particular reason. They're just plain old exceptions, and there's no way to know except for just by memorizing them. Finally, we talked about how to make nouns plural. We said there were 3 rules for it, right? Rule 1, if the noun ends in a vowel, just add s. Rule 2 was if it ends in a consonant, add es. Rule 3, if it ends in the letter z, change the z to c and add es. Okay, so that's what we've done so far. We only have 1 slide of notes to do today, so don't worry, it's very short. The thing we're going to talk about today is indefinite articles. Indefinite. So what we did the other day was called definite articles. This is indefinite articles, and you're going to want to write that down for sure. Indefinite articles. But after you write that down, just listen for a second. I'll tell you when I want you to start writing again in your notes. Very little to write today. Just follow along here for a second, okay? Indefinite articles are, in English, we're talking about the words a and an, right? The other day I asked what are articles in English, and I don't remember who, but someone very intelligently told me a, an, and the. So what we've learned already was the word the in Spanish, definite article. That was el, la, los, and las. So what we're talking about now is a and an, okay? Now, just like with the definite articles, how there were 4 of them, el, la, los, and las, there's gonna be 4 indefinite articles as well. And these are un, una, unos, and unas. And again, don't write this down yet. I'll show you when I want you to start writing in a second, okay? They're used for the same reason that el, la, los, and las are, right? So 2 of these are gonna be singular, 2 of them are plural, 2 are masculine, and 2 are feminine, okay? So here's the thing you should definitely take down in your notes, this chart right here, okay? Just like the definite articles kind of chart that we did the other day, where there was a masculine column, feminine column, singular row, plural row. This is the same thing, but for the indefinite articles. So singular masculine is un, singular feminine is una, plural masculine is unos, plural feminine is unas. Now, if you need to, you might want to pause the video here for a second just so everyone gets this chart down, and when they're finished, go ahead and play again. Okay, so the only other thing you want to add to this at all is what do they mean? Because remember, the definite articles all meant the. Literally all 4 of the words meant the. These are slightly different. The top row, un and una, the singular ones, mean either a or an, Whereas the bottom row, the plural words unos and unas mean some. And I know that word some kind of came out of nowhere. We haven't talked about it yet, but that's what they mean. Unos and unas mean some. So using the example of computer, which in Spanish is computadora, ends in A, so it's feminine. Remember that if I wanted to say the computer, I would say la computadora. But if I want to say a computer, I would say una computadora. And if I wanted to say some computers, I would say unas computadoras. Okay, so these words still work the same. You figure out if a word is masculine or feminine, you figure out if it's singular or plural, and you just put whichever of these four words in front you want if you want to say either a, an, or some instead of the. And that's it for the notes today. If you could please turn your books, take out your books and open them to page 14. And again, you probably want to pause this video for a second while everyone does that. Okay, on page 14, I'm going to try to walk you through your homework today, even though I'm not here. Okay, on 14, look at the blue box at the bottom. It's the intentalo. Here we go. This right here. Okay? In that section, I want you to do both columns there. Look at the column on the left. It wants you to look at the word and put the definite article that would go with that word on the line. You're going to do this on a piece of notebook paper, and you're going to submit that as a picture on Google Classroom, just like you did yesterday. Okay? So on the left column, you're choosing the definite article, which is el, la, los, or las, that goes along with that word. In the right-hand column, you're going to choose the indefinite article, the new ones from today, un, una, unos, or unas. Okay? That's the first part of the homework. Then if you look at page 15, section 1, the directions say, if the word is singular, make it plural. If it is plural, make it singular. Okay, I'm going to take you through right now numbers 1 and 9, the top one from each column there, just so we're on the same page. Number 1 starts off el número. That's singular. You have to make it plural, right? So how do you make el plural? You would turn it into los. And then how do you make numero plural? You add just an S at the end and make it numeros. So your answer for number 1 is los números. Okay? On number 9, the next column over there, it starts off as unas computadoras. So notice, first of all, that it used unas. It used the indefinite, not the definite article. Okay? Unas computadoras, that's plural. You need to make it singular. So how do you make unas singular? It becomes una. And how would you make computadoras singular? Well, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to take off the S, right? And it just becomes computadora. So the answer on number 9 is una computadora. Last section that you have to do for homework is section 2, right below that, okay? The directions say, for each drawing, provide the noun with its corresponding definite and indefinite articles. So if you look at the very first picture there, it says modelo. That means model. So they're going to do like a model. They're going to do an example for you. The picture is a picture of some suitcases. Now, I know we haven't learned the word for suitcases, so how on earth would you know that the word maletas means suitcases? The answer is, you're going to turn to page 38. Remember, it's the vocab page. And all these nouns are in this orange box right here. Okay? So the nouns for this section, section 2, are on page 38 in the orange box. back to the Modelo. It's got a picture of suitcases. Okay, the word for suitcases is maletas. So you would have to write two things, and it wrote them there for you. Las maletas, that's the definite article version, and then unas maletas, that's the indefinite version. Okay, you're doing that for all the pictures on section 2. So one more time, recap. Your homework is the blue section called Inténtalo, section 1, and section 2. Do those on a blank piece of notebook paper, take a picture, submit it through Google Classroom. All right? Good luck to you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.